Morning, everyone. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Maker Mornings with Meg. I'm Meg, and this is Loven Stamp Studio. I am excited to see you guys, and I think that our jitteriness from last video should be fixed now. I had a memory leak. I'm not a computer person, but anyway, in my mail program, so I just shut it all off. So we should be good to stamp today in crystal, hopefully clearer video. But in any case, the card I'm going to show you today is a really easy fun fold card that gives you some really fun choices, and you might recognize it from a version that I made the other day. But the other day I made an airplane card with it, and it was sort of the actually the colors weren't all that different, but today's card is a much more flowery version of our reverse panel fold. So I think you're going to really like that. And I'm going to show you my favorite label die, the one that never leaves your side. Kind of you have it like set to put away, but it never quite gets put away in its put away spot because you're always using it. So I'm going to show you that today. But the stamp set, like I said, that we're going to use that's flowery is Country Flowers. So this one right here, it's from the Country Woods Sweet Collection, which is actually a double. It has that birdhouse in it that you might have seen some fun projects for. And it features two designer series papers, Country Woods and Country Lace. So lots of good possibilities for this. And we're going to have a little mini Stampin Blends lesson. So if you haven't used your blends for a while and you're thinking, I should pull those out for something, this is a really easy one to color and get some really neat effects with. So I'm going to show you that. And morning, hey Joan, hey Tanya, hey Terry. Yay, Terry, you made it. All right, so with that, I'm gonna switch our camera over and we are going to hope for a much more clear video today. So far, so good. And let's get started. Actually, I would like for you guys to have a little less, let's get some better color there. So, okay. All right, so like I said, Country Flowers, this is the die set I'm talking about, Unbounded Love. It has a coordinating stamp set with really great greetings in it, but also the die set here has really been my go-to for the new things. Hey, Nikki, hey, Sue. So I'm gonna show you these things all together. So let's pull out some cardstock here. I have some things that I've pre-cut to make our lives a little bit quicker. And I have a Smoky Slate card base, a layer in Misty, Moonlight, and then I have a piece of the Country Lace Designer Series paper. And then I'm going to need two of these white layers, one to stamp, and then we're going to use our Petal Pink from Country Lace here to add a little extra element. So let's look at the pieces here and put our base together. So this is 5.5 by 8.5. Scored, if you score from the left side, is scored at 2 1/8 and at 4 1/4. So it's just a half sheet card and you fold the front back. Okay, really simple. And hey, Joan. Oh, Joan says she likes those dies too. Hey, Trish. Then I have this piece of designer series paper that's 3 inches by 5 1/4. So 3 inches wide is a great size for this because it's a really efficient way to use your 12 by 12 paper. Speaking of paper, so I had a couple stampers who have been amazing participants in my designer series paper share in the past reach out, just totally distraught because they didn't sign up. They missed the signups for the paper share that I just completed. Oh, hey, Leanne. Hey, Mary Ellen. Hey, Cindy. Oh, hello in Japan today. Or tomorrow. It's going to be tomorrow there pretty soon. Leanne says the paper share is the bomb. I didn't even tell Leanne to say that right now, but I've reopened the paper share for round 2. If we get enough people to participate, then I will do one more round of the paper share. So I think I forgot to put the link in the video description, but you can find it on my Loven Stamps blog, or I'll add it a little bit later. Happy Pre-Friday, Kelly. Gosh, the gang's all here on this Thursday. Okay. So if you miss the paper share, you can still get in on the second round as long as I get enough people to make it go. So sign up on the form and I'll let you know. 3 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And then I have a panel that's 3 by 4. This is another perfect size for being efficient with designer series paper. And our cardstock panel here is 3 1/4 inches, 4 1/4 inches tall by 6 1/2 inches wide. And you're going to score it here at 3 1/4. So if you missed that, the dimensions for this are also on the Loven Stamps monthly tutorials for the month of May, which you get if you place an online order or if you sign up for the paper share. So, gosh, I thought it was done with this paper share, but it just is, it's been too much fun. People are too excited about this new catalog paper. So looking here, we're going to go ahead and add this panel, and this is where the reverse panel fold comes in, okay? So contrary to how we always want to open our cards, this one is gonna open backwards, and I am cheating this out towards the outer edge of my card. I'm going to pop this on here. Multi-purpose liquid glue gives you an extra few seconds to just shift if you need. Yep, there we go. So I can make sure it's straight and then know that I can still have a second to nudge it into place if it's not. All right, so this is our card base. Might be looking familiar. Let's see, do I have the other version? I do. Okay, here's another version to show you. But the version that I shared, this is episode 455 of Maker Mornings with Meg here. We're gonna do a totally different version here. And you can compare and contrast here at the end and see what you think. All right. So let's pull here our pieces of basic white. So this is going to give us our place to stamp. And because I am using Stampin Blends Markers, I'm going to go ahead and use my water-based ink pads, okay? Let's see, I'm missing a Stampin Blend. That is not so good. Where, if you were a Stampin' Blend marker and you were, there it is in the back of my tray, basic gray, or Smoky Slate, where would you be? You would be right here now. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we are going to stamp our images for this, and then we're gonna go ahead and do some coloring. And I have both our flower and our, let's do this so you can see what we're doing. Our flower and our pot from this set. So I have the little pot here, and let's see, we're gonna need this die, and where's their flower? Oh, there it is, it's in the bottom. It helps if you take your hand off and find it right here. Let's see, there we go, that one. So you can see there are lots of great choices, and this is another one of my favorite die set type, and that is one that includes multiples of the same little image. So if you wanted to add like a bouquet of like 3D flowers, you could easily do that, but you don't have to do them all separately because they're together. And there's even a little lid, which I actually hadn't seen yet, for this this pot here. What is this thing called? It's got like a, it's kind of like a milk jug. I don't know. It's got some kind of antique name that I'm not super good at. So if you know what that is, leave me a comment and I'll know for next time. So I'm going to stamp these here in basic gray, and I'm going to stamp these here in basic gray. This one is going to go onto our project as it is. This one is going to be, this one's going to be cut out. So, oh, Bonnie. Actually, I have some stamping friends who used to always watch. I haven't talked to them for a little while because I haven't seen them, but they used to always watch from a local school. They would tell me, I would walk in to drop something off, and they would say, "Oh my gosh, what? You're like, you're wearing the same thing we saw you this morning wearing," or something like that. It was just too funny. So I know they must have been watching when they were at school also. You know what? Sometimes you just need a little break. Who says it has to be at the water cooler? Why can't it just be at our desk watching stamping videos? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and take my Petal Pink marker here. Try not to lose my voice. And I'm just going to give a once over with the light. And then I'm going to go back with the dark and add just a little bit of highlighting. Places where they overlap in the center of our flowers. And I'm going to zoom in for you guys because I realize that you're kind of far away, can't see super well. So let's fix that. There we go. How's that? Oh, I saw pixelated for a second. Okay, hopefully not anymore. So now I'm going to come back with our soft sea foam, and I'm going to use my lighter one and go ahead and do our regular sort of round of coloring. So the way this works is, oops, that's not a leaf, but it is now. The way this works is we're gonna do a layer of the light color. Okay, that's step number 1 for Stampin' Blends. Step number 2 is to add the dark on the color here lines or at the base of things where you want there to be a little shadow. So like where these leaves overlap. Okay, right at the base of these leaves. Do you see how it adds so much more? And actually you can't tell that that's not supposed to be a leaf anymore because we've added some shading to it and now it just looks right. Oh, and I missed that one right there. Now usually I go back with my light and I add an extra layer at the intersection, but we're not going to do that in these little tiny things because they're just too hard to see. And speaking of little tiny things, I'm actually on my Misty Moonlight here. I'm not going to color these petals. I'm just going to give a tiny brush of color with my bullet tip. And that's what I love, having 2 tips on these markers. With my bullet tip to add the sort of the suggestion of color on these little tiny blossoms. And I don't know about you guys, these little flowers make me think of forsythia, especially in the spring, which is bright yellow. And I had a sad moment yesterday. I had a forsythia bush that's been growing very poorly in our yard, and it didn't come back this year. So I finally gave up on it and pulled it out yesterday. So sad. So we'll see. I put a hibiscus bush in its place, and I'm not very attached to it. So if there's something like weird about that place in the soil, then I won't worry about it too much. So, okay, so now to this. Oh yes, Terry suggested a crock. I think that crock is exactly the word I was looking for. So we have this fun crock here, and we're going to pretend that it is gray or galvanized. I suppose it could be pottery for a crock or galvanized or something. So this is where it's going to be easier to see how these colors work together. So Stampin' Blends, 1, color with light. 2, go back and add the darker in the edges or wherever you want there to be a shadow, okay? I'm going to go ahead and do a line across here, across the bottom of our bucket, down this side, here, and then kind of once on the bottom of this little lip here, okay? So that's number 2. Right now, this looks like it's colored with Crayola markers. So step 3 is to go back with the, which isn't bad, it's just a different style, and that's not what I'm going for. Go back with the light, and I'm going to color at the intersection between those 2. So what this is doing is this is using the alcohol and the extra pigment from this lighter color to pick up the pigment from the dark and smush it around on the paper, kind of like it would for watercolor. If watercolor, you'd be pushing that watercolor pigment around using water. We're pushing it around using alcohol because that's our solvent for these markers, okay? So now we're gonna kind of add under here where that lip is. And then lastly, I'm gonna kind of go down and just run 1 swipe here by the handle so that it kind of looks like there's a little shadow under the handle, all right? Now, I do not claim to be a watercolor expert. I just play one on YouTube. So what we're going to find though is a lot of times I'll look at this and I'll think, I don't really love it. But when it dries, it just looks like, oh, look, that's got some shaping to it. Okay. So we're going to leave that the way it is. I'm going to go ahead and take my dies. Hey, Inika. I'm going to go ahead and, hey, Jeffrey. Good. Happy Thursday. Yes. We like to call it pre-Friday here because it just makes us happy. So yes, happy Thursday, AKA pre-Friday. And I'm going to go ahead and die cut these. Now, while we're die cutting, I'm going to pull in, I want to repeat this soft seafoam color. So I'm going to pull in some soft seafoam cardstock, and we're going to use this extra die here that's included in Country Flowers as a shape die. And we're going to go ahead and cut this out. Now this part here has been done through the magic of television. Ta-da! And then we're going to zoom you guys out here so that we can see more of our work surface. And I'm going to switch cameras so that I can invite you to come with me to our die cut machine here. And I'm going to pop this on. Now remember, oh, hi everybody. Remember when you are using your die cutting, to rotate your plates, you want to turn them over sometimes so that you're not always cutting on the same side. You'll reduce the warping if you cut on both sides of your plates and all the different pieces of them. And The reason for that is that you're evenly cutting up both surfaces of that plastic mat. So you're going to end up with like everything kind of canceling each other out warp-wise. So, all right, so here we have our pieces here, die cut and ready to go on our card. And now I will show you how we're going to put this all together. All right, so back here to the front of our, oh, this piece is going to go on the inside, so let's go ahead and do that. And remember, when you're using Stampin' Blends, you're going to get some bleed through. That's how they work. The alcohol is going to saturate the paper, and that's what gives you that nice color flow. So don't be alarmed. Sometimes I have to plan a card to cover up the back so that the piece is covered. Sometimes I don't worry about it. All right, now we're going to put our vase here, our crock, or pail, whatever, and we're going to add our flowers to it, and we're going to put our leaves kind of down here as a little way to repeat our soft seafoam color. But we want to add labels, and there's some great ones in here. Sending Love is just a really nice all-purpose one. Best Friend Ever, Flower Market. This also could be a sympathy set with Heartfelt Sympathy. So lucky to know you. Some great choices, in here. But like I said, I want to add a base to this. And so we're going to pull out this die here from Unbounded Beauty Dies. Lots of great choices. And cut this from our Petal Pink Country Lace paper. So this is going to bring in that Petal Pink color again, because remember, we want to repeat each color. And through the magic of television, I have that here. And so let's go ahead and do our stamping on here. I'm going to use my Basic Gray again. Basic Gray is really one of my, I use it almost more than Memento Black these days. I love the softness of it, so that you get that nice line art, but it's a little bit softer than crisp black. So sometimes I like crisp black. I actually just used mine yesterday, but often I find that I really like the softer look of the Basic Gray. So remember to think about this pad if you don't already have it. The supply list for our series is in the video description, so you can use that link to find anything that you are looking for. And I'm going to show you a reality fix on this. So can you see that I got this a little bit crooked? My washi tape didn't hold it quite in place. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to fix this. So what I'm going to do is just trim away. The thing when you have a die cut like this that is annoying to see is that you just have a little bit too much white space on one side. So a lot of times you can just cut away some of that extra white space. And I'm actually not going to bother on the handle because it's so small. But do you see how that little fix made such a big difference there? Oh, Bonnie said she never thinks about stamping on the designer series paper. That is a common, I have been working to do it more lately. And with this new designer series papers sort of collection in this new catalog, there are a lot of really great ones. All right, so you see I put that down there, and then I'm just gonna pop this in the front and kind of hold it with my fingers. I don't like to fussy glue things if I can avoid it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pop a Stampin' Dimensional right there on that intersection, and maybe one more here to make sure I hold it in place. And then, you know what? We're just gonna pop one here. Now, before I stick this down, we'll flip it over here and look at it. It's gonna sit like this. And now I want to add this little greenery. Now, I could put it over here to kind of balance that direction. But the problem with that is you cannot overlap this edge of this blue Misty Moonlight layer, because look at this. It would get pinched right here at that intersection. It would fold your leaves. So instead, we're gonna pop it over here on this corner like this, okay? And we're gonna use something else to balance the other side of this. So that part here is coming. It's bling. Spoiler alert. It's bling, Sue, it's bling. All right, so I'm gonna flip this to this side. And again, I'm not gonna work too hard at attaching things. I'm just gonna put a Stampin' Dimensional right there on the back where it's going to hold our greenery in place for me, okay? So now I can pop this whole piece here on our card. And I like it not to be centered. I want it shifted a little bit to the left side here. This card is one that shifts left, right, because each panel goes a different direction. Okay, so we're left, we're opening right, we're looking left, we're looking right. So it kind of gives you that fun little extra jaunty movement to it. All right, with that, let's go ahead and add our bling here. These are the Smoky Slate and Basic Gray Pearls. I think it's actually Basic Gray and Smoky Slate Pearls, but these are one of my very new favorites, or new very favorites. Anyway, I think that they're not available right now, although I will say if you've been waiting for things to come back, go ahead and check the online store today because some things have come back early. The latte paper was supposed to come back the week of June 3rd, and it is in the store right now. So if you are waiting for the latte paper, Diana, you know who you are. It is back, and so this would be a great time to snag that. So these have been gone, but they will be back. So I'm going to go ahead. They have this light smoky slate color in 2 sizes and this darker basic gray in 2 colors. I'm going to go with the light. Remember when you're using your take your pick tool, this putty end, I'm just going to do a slide and sometimes I have to mush my putty back to the top. There we go. Slide and stick. And let's see. I'm trying to remember. Yeah. Okay. We're going to do kind of there and then same thing, slide and stick. So what the slide does is the slide helps to detach the pearl from the plastic backing so that it comes up with its mini glue dot, okay, the glue dot that's underneath there. Sometimes if I just try and peel with my fingernail or my scissors or something, I can peel the dot off the glue. So by pressing and sliding, I'm kind of reattaching that if it's been thinking about coming apart, and then it'll pick up with the take your pick tool and I can pop it on my card, okay? Remember with your embellishments, you guys all know this, to put this on the slit this on the side. And okay, I have a poll for you. So let me, I meant to activate it earlier. So let me activate the poll and then we'll see how, let's see. So the poll is, how do you feel about fun fold cards? So do you find that they are too much work? Do you find that you love them no matter how complicated they are? Or do you think that your favorites are the ones that only look complicated? So spoiler alert, my favorites are the ones that only look complicated. But I do like almost all of them. So you can vote on the poll there and let me know what you think. And let's see. Okay. I'll give you guys a couple seconds. I know that it delays a little bit. So we have some people polling right now. So let's switch our camera back. All right, so this card here is the same layout as this card here. And you can see that they have 2 different looks to them and 2 different kind of feels. We have our sort of engineering masculine look card here. We have our softer floral Stampin Blends colored look here. So lots of good possibilities for this very same card layout. And one of them has a basic gray background. One of them has a smoky slate background. But really, we're kind of talking the same kind of color schemes, blues and grays. And they really make a difference depending on which designer series paper, the feminine, soft country lace paper, or the sort of engineering, movement-based airplane paper. It really makes a big difference. So, okay, early results on the poll are, it was 50-50 a second ago. Okay, so right now, I love them no matter how complicated is very barely edging out the people who are saying, oh, now it's okay, you guys are more than 50% on the I love them no matter how complicated line. And then closely behind was my favorites are the ones that only look complicated. So I don't know how long polls stay active, if you can go back and vote on them after the thing or after the video is done. But anyway, it sounds like, and 0 people, don't let this be a challenge to you, 0 people said that fun fold cards are too much work. So my mission is always to give you guys some ideas to make fun fold cards that aren't too complicated. So if you're the person who likes complicated, I do those sometimes too. But if you are the person who's really excited to have things that aren't too over the top, difficult to do, then I am always happy to help you with that, because that's definitely my stamping style too. Oh, Lynette says she loves all fun fold cards, and Lisa too. Yeah, I love all fun fold cards. I just prefer to make the ones that look complicated but actually aren't too bad. So speaking of which, on Tuesday, I will be back with another fun fold card of a variety that looks complicated but is actually not. I had to kind of think about, make sure I'm talking about. Yeah, actually next week I have 2 fun-filled cards. They both involve diagonals. So that will be kind of a fun, set of exercises for us. Let's see. Lisa said, somebody said. Lynette asked somebody asked where the poll was. Maybe they found it and deleted their comment. Anyway, I actually don't know where the polls show up for you guys. So you'll have to, maybe you can help each other chat on there. And yeah, we're kind of coming even. So anyway, the resounding answer is that fun-filled cards are a big hit with everyone. And sometimes easy, sometimes complicated. So, all right, everyone, have a wonderful weekend. Think good, no storm thoughts for all of our friends around the U.S. It was kind of a stormy weekend. And think about my daughter has to be at work in New Mexico on Monday next week. So we are driving to New Mexico this weekend. So think good, no rainy, no stormy thoughts for us on our road trip. We were talking yesterday about what do we want? Snacks. And we were thinking we need some car yoga because it's a lot of hours in the car. So neither one of us know if there's car yoga. We thought we'd Google it in the car because we could figure it out and we've got time. But if you know about car yoga, leave me some tips or some links or something because we're looking for that. Anyway, I'll be back on Tuesday with another Maker Mornings with Meg at 9:30 a.m. Central Time. And last call, kind of, if you are thinking about that paper share, I'm going to pop that in the video comments here or in the video description so that you can still sign up for round 2 of the paper share if you missed out on the first one. So thanks so much for joining me today, everybody, and we will see you next week for new episodes of Maker Mornings with Meg. So happy stamping, everyone.